Have you been looking for your keys to success? You have found the best place to start. We will hear from professionals on different keys to success in building huge careers in and outside the mortgage industry. These conversations that each person will share their experience will allow you to hear nuggets on finding your keys to success. I'm your host, SueMeitner, so let's get started and grab your keys. Hey everyone, it's SueMeitner and welcome to Grab Your Keys. We have a great guest today. I've known Craig Suing for a long time, probably longer than I really want to admit. So Craig is the creator and producer of Financing the American Dream, which is a nationally televised show that goes from one coast to the other. It's absolutely amazing. It's on tons of different channels. And I had the pleasure of hosting it for a while. So, Craig, welcome to Grab Your Keys.
Hey, let's go. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so give us a quick snapshot of like who Craig is and what Craig does.
Well,
I know, that's a lot to unload.
Yeah, it's funny. We were small talking before we came into the meeting, and I said, I love how we're both coming into this with zero preparation because it gives your audience an authentic understanding of who we are, what we do, and these questions are all very real and unprepared. So, for me, I am an entrepreneur in every sense of the word. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, mowing lawns and shoveling snow to buy baseball cards. And then actually, like you, I got into the mortgage industry when I was 21 years old, and I really had tripped and stumbled into it. And along the way, I found a path into media. And that actually got me moved out to San Diego, California, where I live now. You can see the studio behind me. I am the CEO and founder of Real Shows Network, and we are a national network of not just one show, but many shows. You just referenced one of them, Financing the American Dream, which was spawned off of the American Dream, which also has spawned other spin-off shows across the country within the Real Shows Network. And so when you kind of fast forward to today, there's still that entrepreneurial spirit of it all. If you look at the mainstream media, it's gone bad. The media is negative. The news makes its money dividing us, scaring us, selling us fear. Why? Because 83% of advertising dollars in this country come from big pharma. And if it's not the news, it's pop culture. It's all gone really bad. And so what we created years ago was media that didn't rely on advertisers. And not just, videos to upload to YouTube, but like actual national television shows that air on major networks like HGTV, the Travel Channel. And we went against the grain of the negative media by creating new shows and models. And the way that we monetize it is through partnerships and licensing versus selling out to advertisers with negative and divisive content. And we did it in the sector that I came from, which is real estate and finance. And over the years, it's grown, from a napkin type story to a national network that has 2 Emmy nominations, gets millions of views, and has great professionals that come and go as you have, and it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I love catching up with you when I get to see you because as I said, we've known each other for a long time, probably over a decade, and I love the entrepreneurial spirit that you have, and the entrepreneurial spirit that really is illustrated in real estate and in mortgages and in what you do. How do you feel that you're able to showcase, and as we said, this is all like just off the cuff, how do you feel that you're able to showcase that for realtors and for mortgage professionals with the way that you showcase them?
I love that question because when we look at the traditional sense of media and TV shows about real estate, we've all heard of shows like The $1 Million Listing and Chip and Joanna and Flip or Flop and whatever. And look, those things can be entertaining, but I don't think they really do much value to the actual professionals that are in the industry, professionals like you, and those who may not be in big cities where these shows are being made. And so our intention was to go against the grain of the negative media, but also to create real shows with real professionals sharing real stories. And so what we designed on the real estate side was for the best real estate professionals all across the country to show why people love where they live, but in a very authentic storyteller kind of way, where they're sharing the stories of local businesses, charities, school districts, farmers markets. Why do people love it there? I mean, who better to share those stories than real professionals who live, work, and play there? And so we give them the creative freedom to show why people love it. Now, I just mentioned I'm in San Diego. Well, what does that even mean? There's Del Mar, La Jolla, Encinitas, Solana Beach. These are all different areas. And you can say the same thing about Philadelphia. So on the real estate side of the American dream, we empower real estate professionals to have the creative freedom to create content, which they should be doing without us, in video and social media for their business. But what a cool way to be a part of a national TV show that is seen by many in a very authentic way. On the mortgage side, okay, now you're striking something I'm really passionate about, because I came from the mortgage industry, and I believe that the mortgage professional is the unsung hero of the transaction. So many people look at the mortgage professionals like the number 2 of the 1-2 punch, like the vendor of the deal. Without the mortgage professional, you can't buy the house. Like, so sometimes I wonder why they're not the number 1, the number 2. And maybe we get that wrong, but it's just as important as what the real estate professional does. The real estate professional tends to be known for who knows the area, who's the marketer, and then the mortgage professional kind of sits behind. It's like, well, I'm going to get you the money. Wouldn't it be nice if, like, you did one of your $1 million loans, Sue, and it wasn't just a wiring at a closing table, but like you actually got to push $1 million across a table?
Yeah, I love
Wouldn't that
that.
be more fun that way? Wouldn't it be
That would
more
be
of an
great.
appreciation for buying a house? And so what we thought with the mortgage professionals, like, wait a second, they got a story too, and they live, work, and play there. And there's another side of real estate that we don't talk much about that's critically important. But the cool thing about the mortgage side of it is we don't let them come on the shows and talk about interest rates and underwriting guidelines. They do the lifestyle stuff too in their own perspective. So it's very lifestyle oriented through the lens of award-winning professionals like yourself. And that's how we create our stories that consumers get to see.
That's amazing, and I love all the segments, and I love seeing it throughout the United States, from Philadelphia to Kansas City to Ohio to like anywhere, like all over the place. I loved watching all of it because I am one of those people who love watching all those housing shows. So do you feel the American dream is still alive and well in the United States with all the places that you've been going and all the professionals you work with?
You know, I was on a podcast on 9/11 last year, and the host asked me, is the American dream dead on 9/11? And I said, the moment we stop dreaming is the moment we might as well be. Like, the American dream, it's funny, I just actually posted this on Instagram, or showed it at the American Dream, and then I shared it. And I said, you know, we think of American Dream, we think of home ownership. I think where we're getting it wrong is the ownership part. It's about home, right? Like living in a home, raising your family, building memories, building community. So this idea that the American dream is dead, I certainly think there's challenges in our economy. If you're in the younger generation, it's tougher to get a job, and we got this AI. But the American dream is not a destination. It's really a mindset. Like, we live in the greatest country on the planet. Now, if you turn off the news for 5 minutes, you realize that. I mean, just look at the news. What do they argue about? What are politics about? Immigration and wars and things like that. We kind of forget for a second. Isn't it something to be happy about, that millions of people went into this country, not out of it? That we have a military that's willing to voluntarily die for our freedoms. That even though we don't get along sometimes and the media stokes that fire, I'm a big believer that the American dream is a mindset, not a circumstance. And some people are born into better positions than others. But ultimately, it's there for everybody to achieve. And in some ways, sure, home ownership is great. You create stability, you raise your family somewhere, it builds your finances, you get tax advantages, and you build equity. But it's not only about owning home ownership or owning real estate. I think it's also about living a great life and being in a country that allows you to do that. So I don't think the American dream is dead at all. I think that's a negative mindset created by the media, and I think we need to get rid of it.
Well, that's why I like to ask it, because I really feel that we need to counteract that a lot of the time. Because, you know, no matter what interest rates are, I mean, and people buy houses. There's always reasons for people to buy houses, and that is where you raise your family, and it is where you make memories. So it is truly
So
the
my
American
parents
dream.
live in the house I was raised in, and I was there visiting my dad last week, and we sat on the back patio of this really humble house where I was raised, and there's a woods in the backyard, and we didn't say two words to each other. We just sat and had the woods behind us. We had the Cardinal game on. I'm a big baseball fan. And I
Yeah.
remember just sitting there. I'm like, man, this means everything to me. Like as a kid who got to be raised, of course you don't know it when you're a kid. You reflect back on it. Just being able to go home and then be with my dad on a back patio where I used to play in the backyard, and to see my kids running around in that backyard, in their grandpa's backyard. But then knowing who the neighbors are and how we used to sled down there on that hill. And I took my son over to a small little crummy lake that I used to throw rocks in, and there he's throwing rocks in it. Owning a home is such an important thing, regardless of how financially beneficial it is, which it is. It's about just kind of putting your flag in the sand and being like, this is mine. And that part of the American dream, I think, is it's something everyone should really strive for, because it is really so rewarding, both from like raising your family and the financial component of it. So I think it's important, but it's so much bigger than the money side of it, and I encourage everybody to try and get their piece of it.
So you're big on homeownership, on entrepreneurship, obviously, on, having the positivity in media, or you wouldn't be doing what you do. So what do you feel your 3 keys to success are?
No matter what, and now this is just my own version of this. This could be different for everybody, but no matter what, I think mindset is the most important thing. Life's hard. I just talked about the news. We have a 24/7 news cycle that is there to scare you and make you hate your neighbor and argumentative, and it's easy to get sucked into. Now, when you and I are growing up, Sue, we didn't have this thing called social media. So now it takes this 24/7 news cycle and it snowballs it with algorithms, and it feeds you this terrible content, and we don't let go of it because fear sells. And then there's the technology itself, right? Waking up with this thing as an alarm, you're immediately pulled into it. Checking your email is like Russian roulette of your day. Like one bad email and your whole day starts off terribly. If you don't create a separation from that in 2026, I think there's a real risk to your mental health. And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're in the real estate game, the mortgage game, you are in a 9 to 5, or maybe you don't work and you're just an awesome stay-at-home mom. Whatever it is, now more than ever, your mental health has never been more important. So for me, getting back to your question, the 3 components for success, mental health. I mean, actually making it a practice of meditation and things like cold plunge, which I know is all the hype, but like it really is good for your mental health. It dumps the dopamine and all of that. Journaling and prayer, if you believe in someone above. Like these things I do to start my day, and I have to, because I'm going to be encountered with a lot of stress that day. And it's the thing that I can shut down the monkey brain and make sure that when I encounter stress, I'm responding, not reacting. That stress could come from work, it could come from a relationship, whatever. So mental health is number 1. I also think physical health is really important because what you eat, what you do, you got to have great energy. And then lastly, I would say that, look, success is hard. And we live in a world where it makes it look so easy. Sue, you're one of the most successful mortgage leaders in the country. You just got asked to speak in Washington, D.C. on stage in front of thousands of people and speak to leaders about your industry. Has any of it been easy?
No. No.
When I came into this podcast
one little...
and we were going to hit play and get started, were you not grinding something? I'm like, what are you guys working on? And I could just tell you're in it.
Yeah.
Success is hard. And I will tell you something, like literally from today. I am facing some real big challenges today. And it's kind of something that's been around for several weeks now. I've been through so many failures at this time, by this 46 years on this planet. And if I look back at all the challenges I've ever had, they all turned into something good. Being a college dropout, multiple recessions, my business is going under, COVID. Every time I reflect back, I'm like, I'm glad that happened, because I would have never started a radio show. I would have never got into mortgage back in 2001. I would have never started a TV show. I would have never created my own studio if the Union Tribune, the studio, didn't go belly up with the newspaper. And if you get to this place where you realize, hey, every time I hit this patch of adversity or challenge, what am I learning? How am I getting better? And that's where the mental health stuff comes in. You got to still get up when you don't want to. Put that extra work in. It's just not going to be easy. So work ethic is something that I think as a country, I mean, everybody wants to make $1 million, and every snake oil salesman, I call them the fruit flies of the new buzzword in social media. Success is hard.
Success is hard, and having a good work ethic is difficult to instill and even more difficult to find.
Yeah, and the thing that's hard on you is probably much harder on others in your industry. I mean, you're in the mortgage industry where last few years, rising rates and all this stuff, but the cream rises to the top. You see who the best are, and it's those who are willing to grind and put in the hard work through challenging markets, which that's a big statement, but challenging markets have really challenging days and have really challenging moments. And those moments are insecurities and confidence and am I doing the right thing? It's not just, man, do I make that extra call today or that thing? No, it's like, how am I mentally equipped to handle the stress today? It gets back to my original ingredient. Like, you got to be mentally healthy every day because success is hard.
Yes, and so when you put the mindset, the mental health, the physical health, and the work ethic all encapsulated into a day, do you have a morning routine? Do you have a morning?
I really do.
Do you find that? How did you? First off, for those people who don't have a morning routine, let's just talk to them for a minute. When did you figure out you wanted to have a morning routine because you needed to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, and have a good work ethic? How did you decide on that? And what is an example of what your morning routine is?
And I want to answer that, but if I look at the question about the ingredients, I was interviewed on stage in Seattle, where are we now? Probably earlier this year. And I think the interview was looking for answers specific to an industry, like strategy. And my answer is about mental health. Like, who's this guy? What does he know about mental health? Because that really is the reason we've been able to accomplish some of the growth that we have is by just being steady and consistent and grinding through challenges. So that's why it's so important as part of my answer. But to your point, I've always loved things like personal development. So I've always gone to the conferences and paid for the coaches and mentorship and the podcasts and YouTubes. And I still do to this day. I still have coaches that I pay money. And it's just something I think growth is really how God made it. The world keeps turning. The market keeps changing. The sun goes up. The sun goes down. The moment you stop growing is the moment you're dying. I really believe it is designed with the intention of growth. And so I've always been into it. But to your question about when did I start the morning routine, I don't think there's ever just a day or a moment. I've always done these things, but you do it long enough and you start to recognize that, hey, man, today felt good. Why? Oh, I did these things in the morning, which made me in a better mood for that day. For your audience, this is a life hack, what I'm about to say. You can literally change how you love your life by what you do in your morning to get yourself set up, not because it's woo-woo, because it's just science. So for me, I don't do this every morning, but if I had my perfect morning, it would be not waking up to an alarm. This is bad news. I don't want to get hit with technology. So that's the first thing. I step outside and I just deep breaths, fresh air. I'm alive today. I try and take that in and just kind of be happy that I'm alive. Again, I don't do this every morning, but I try and get a meditation in, usually 15 minutes. That shuts the monkey brain down a bit. One of the things that I didn't used to do that I've been doing a lot lately is in the morning I'll journal, which oddly does something and just getting it out of the junk, out of your head to on paper. And All of a sudden I feel better after I do it. I try and get a workout in. I try and eat well in the morning. I pray, and I try and get a sauna and cold plunge in. If I can do all of that, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to have a great day.
Cool.
And I'm going to encounter stress that day, but I would have encountered stress that day anyway. But if I did those things in the morning, I'm going to handle that stress much better. I'm going to not react as much versus respond. I will be the best version of myself if I do those things, which I know sounds like a lot. I also, I get up early so I can do it. That's a 2-hour process. But, I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I get it done. And then guess what? I left out something very important. I kiss my wife, I kiss my kids, and I hug them and love on them, and I get all that in too.
Yeah, of course. I thought, being a dad in today's world, being a mom in today's world, we really have to make time for everything, including ourselves and including our family time, to make sure that you're driving the kids to school, picking up the kids from school, being there for sporting events. And bedtimes. I made a point to do all of those things. And I always say I had a 5-minute rule. If my children weren't in something for more than 5 minutes, so 5 minutes or more, if they were in it for 5 minutes or more, I was there. If they were in for 5 minutes or less, we discussed it, and most of the time I didn't have to be there. So if you were just flitting across a stage, then I didn't have to be there. So, and it was just our little way to make sure that I could have some sort of harmony in all of our lives where everyone felt they were getting the best. But having that work-life balance, which never is a balance, is super important. But to get the hugs and the kisses and the loving and the mindset in does make you a mentally healthy person. Because
I don't know how moms do it. I mean, everything I've just explained to you, having 4 kids, I do as a dad. It's so much harder for moms. The way that kids gravitate towards moms, the way that they need you, but they don't need dad, at least in my household. It's being a mom is a huge job in and of itself. To be an entrepreneur like you are and a mom, I honestly don't know how you or women like you actually do it. It's incredibly impressive. But just back to like the mental health stuff, Sue, and I know the kids are the greatest joy ever, but they also can be little balls of stress. And it's like, if you don't, again, this is me, but if I don't do the things to unwind, I always say I'm like a rubber band that's been pulled back tight, and if I don't like bring it together, it might snap. Even your kids, like their blessings, you don't want to rush through the hugs and kisses and whatever. You want to like really give them your full attention because they're giving it to you and they want nothing but love from you. And you're just going a million miles an hour, checking your phone, yelling at an email. Like, they deserve it more than anything else in your career do. And so a lot of that mental health stuff, that morning routine, it's just as much for your children as it is for your business counterpart.
For sure. And we're not airing this probably until sometime in summer. So you guys, if you're going to hear a little story, which is fun, but my daughter graduated from college, so I'm done. And last week, but
Are you ever done? Are you ever actually done?
No, we're not done. I'm just done with the schooling of it for the most part until she decides if she wants to go to law school. So 2 out of school. Now we're cleaning out my office because, spring, summer cleaning. And I'm going through and all those physical forms, every year that you have to like send in. Well, you might not need to know, but your wife knows. You have to send in like the medical form, the dental form, like all that. So I came across a file that I just had in the corner so that whenever I had to register them for school or anything, I just could quickly have it. And I just had it and threw it in. And I must have always had this file. Well, I was like, I guess since I'm done, I can officially throw all that stuff away. Destruction bin it went to. So that was just today. That's gotta be cleansing to a certain extent. I know, it was very mentally healthy for me to do that today. So where do you feel?
Congratulations, by the way, Sue. It's a major accomplishment. Like raising kids is hard. You get them through school and to be healthy and with an opportunity to chase their American dream. I mean, that is, like I said, moms are the unsung heroes.
Yeah. So, and I always look back and I'm like, we had a 5-ring circus. What are you seeing right now in the industry that people should pay attention to? You're not in the mortgage industry, but you are in the real estate mortgage media world and in all of the real TV, what do you feel is something that people should be paying attention to?
AI. AI.
How much, where do you feel like, do you feel you need that every day in your life?
The thing about AI is the future is here, and it's only going to get bigger and crazier. And as a CEO of the Real Shows Network, as a creator and founder of it, it's something that I probably learned about a few years ago. And when I first learned about it, my thought was fight or flight, it's a threat, right? Like, it's a threat, so we're always on alert. The reality is disruption as an entrepreneur is a good thing. Disruption can create opportunity. So you got to find the opportunity. I think that AI in our lifetime is the ultimate equalizer. Everybody, the most successful billionaire you've ever met to the 20-something-year-old that's trying to figure out life, everybody is looking at this thing that is just this huge wave of change through the same lens of like, what do we do now? Now, for me, when I look at AI, here's what I think. If I really boiled it down, I think that AI is going to be able to do the work of a lot of industries. If I just went into the mortgage industry or some of the professions that I'm sure are listening, professionals that are listening to this podcast, there's a good chance that AI is going to be able to do 80% of your job. It might be 90% of your job. It might be 95. But there's a percent it's not going to be able to do. And that's where a professional has to 10x their effort. So let's talk about the real estate and mortgage circle. It won't be able to do relationships. It won't be able to do community. It won't be able to do empathy. It might be able to analyze a deal, but it won't be able to really do the deal and the emotion and everything around it. And so I think that gives tremendous opportunity for professionals who double down on the things it can't do. I mean, Sue, I don't know about you, but like, I'm a media company. You don't think I'm not seeing the stuff about how iPhones can create cinematic movies? Well, I just have to adapt. I don't know about you, but like the idea of watching a Hollywood movie that doesn't have actors that had to like grow and do things for their part, isn't that exciting to me? I like
That's not exciting.
To train for that part, or a sports game. Like if it's robots playing, like that's not going to be exciting to me. You want the emotion. You want humans are going to double down on humans. People aren't going to want to see their neighbors losing their job. They're not going to want to lose their job. So there's going to be like a tug of war from humans with AI. But the money's going to move to AI. It is going to grow, and you need to grow with it. That means learning, educating yourself, playing with it, but also it's almost like you need to learn AI skills while simultaneously doubling down on things that AI can't do.
Yeah, and I think one of the prime things that AI can't do is show people the community, show people who they are on a show like Financing the American Dream or American Dream. And if people wanted to get in touch with you to say, how can I be part of what you have been producing and do, how would they do that?
Anyone can DM me. Find me online. There's plenty of places to find me, but Instagram tends to be the one I go to, at Craig Sewing Media. If you want to follow what we do, if you like the idea of positive media when the world really needs it, that is our mantra. Positive media, niche and neighborhood. You can follow at The American Dream TV. And look, it means the world to us just by following and engaging in the content. You're breathing oxygen into what our mission is, which is to like celebrate the fact that we live in the greatest country on the planet. Sure, we have our differences, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans and we should be lifting each other up, turning off the negative news, unfollowing certain things that are negative, and lifting each other up, lifting our neighborhoods up. And that's what we try and do with the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you've been part of Grab Your Keys, and we're going to put all of your information below so people can just get to you at the click of a button. And Craig, I've appreciated your friendship over the years, and thank you so much. So guys, like, share, follow, comment, because Craig is one of a kind. So thank you so much.